What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports NBA Hardwood show. A little bit of a late start. We apologize for that. The guys before went a little over. 11 games, so we're not going to do too much chit-chatting here before, but our guy C-Dome is in Miami. And look at that scenic view behind. We may run into the same issue as we had last week, though, with JT on the back porch where the sun kind of set and he disappeared into the shadows. Randone, do you have a game plan for us here?
Yeah, I mean, I am a little nervous. The sunset is listed as questionable currently, so we don't know. Right now, it's looking like we could get the show done in time, but if not, there is a backup plan. JT didn't have the lights. We have some lights here, and so we'll flip them if we need to. But I think I'm going to run it like JT did last week and just let that sunset go. And yeah, let's have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are just living the dream. I mean, back-to-back weeks, I got the beach, the ocean right behind JT. We got skyscrapers, a beautiful backdrop for C-Dome, and I got these fucking rings that my wife won't get rid of behind me back-to-back weeks. But we'll see. Maybe Hoop will hit the road here next week and surprise you guys. JT, what's going on? I see you're back to the home office here, so we don't have to worry about the light shutting out on you tonight.
Yeah, no, the lighting's good for me, but I'm glad that C-Dome is in an environment where we get some natural light, because that'll let us know when it's time to get out of here and make our lineup. So Correct, that's pretty helpful. And Bean Air is in the chat cracking us all up. So happy Friday to you.
Yes, and B1 says C-Dome looks toasted, so it could be a lot of fun here with C-Dome enjoying himself a little bit there on vacation.
Couldn't be more right.
I've had an interesting 24 hours, guys, but you know what? We're here. I ran a shit ton of lineups and the projections and the optimizers. So yeah, things are looking pretty solid right now. So I'm still on the game no matter what. And someone asked what the choice of alcohol is. I'm drinking wine with Pellegrino on ice. So that's how we do it.
Really? Interesting combination. Wine with water and ice, huh?
You're like, are you one of the fucking disciples? I mean,
yeah, what is it
over there?
Hey, listen.
You
guys, you have to remember, I grew up in a Argentinian home, and the trick is, my grandfather taught me this. Listen, you drink red wine with ice and seltzer water. So Pellegrino, you get extra volume. This is the trick. You get extra volume. And then also you get a different type of buzz because of the carbonation with the wine. I swear to God, I have never had a better drink in my life, and it hits. So, just try it sometime. Yeah, just try it sometime. It's absolutely, JT, I guarantee you, Mrs. Hoop would love it.
She would. Yeah, she definitely would, because she does all that stuff with her drinks. JT, how do you think that drink compares to your Coors Lights?
Well, I mean, the wine it's an interesting pairing. It might be a little bit, it's definitely a little bit heavier than what I drink. And if C-Dome has been going on that for 24 hours, it will indeed be an interesting show. So I think that would, maybe that's we were struggling to find a name for your play of the day. Maybe it's the 12 disciples play of the day.
12 disciples.
The 13th disciple play of the day. I like it.
Our guy Landon in the chat says Costco wine or nothing. I love myself some Costco wine. I just get the big old bottles of wine. I'll even get the box wine from Costco and just roll with that. It's my favorite. So he's definitely onto something there. But hit that like button for us. You guys are doing a phenomenal job, by the way, on the likes. I mean, I pulled the stream up. There's 145 likes. There's like 200 people watching. We love that for sure. So continue on with those likes. We can get to the plays of the day, but we're going to get into the games here. We got 11 and going to be running up against the time here. First game, Wizards, Hornets, 225 total. Washington favored by 4. I think we got some plays here. Mason Plumlee getting solid minutes. PJ Washington, Terry Rozier. And then on the Wizard side, Porzingis has been crushing his last 2 games, 63 fantasy points and 58 fantasy points. He's a guy that I kind of like to ride when he's hot, so I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of him. So I think we got a few games here right out of the gate. We'll go to you first, JT. Thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, you mentioned Mason Plumlee. The price they are very enticing, and these Hornets are still shorthanded. The pricing's come down on Rozier, who's back in now, and PJ Washington. I don't know. He's a little bit volatile. I think if you play him, you're going to play him right around the field. On the opposite side, yes, Porzingis has been on fire. And in the last game the Hornets played against the Celtics, I think all 6 of the Celtics point guards scored 30 fantasy points. So you have to be somewhat interested in Monty Morris at just 4.5K on DraftKings, or Bradley Beal, who's just 8.4.
Yep. Definitely don't mind Tim either. The price it's about as low as it's been on him all season. This is a spot where he could, kind of go off. Cedom, thoughts here on this game, Wizards, Hornets.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Hoop. I mean, there are quite a few players that you can go to here in this first game. This is a good situation for Porzingis. Charlotte struggles against bigs. He grades out well with projection, and still no one wants to pay that 8,700 price tag. But I will say the ownership looks relatively low compared to what his projection is, and he's actually populating in a lot of optimal lineups. So I don't mind him. I don't mind Kuzma or Beal or even Rozier. These guys actually grade out very well point per dollar tonight in regards to their projection. And then if you want to look for other guys for tournaments, I don't mind PJ Washington, Plumlee, Oubre. These guys will all be getting ownership. And I think one guy that you might want to consider, dual eligibility on DraftKings, small forward and power forward, Jalen McDaniels, not getting a lot of ownership look at the current moment. I don't know if that will change here, over the next hour or two. But I will say his price tag, and given what's showing in the optimal lineups, he's populating a lot. So if you're looking for a pivot off maybe one of these other guys, don't mind Jalen McDaniels either. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. There's a lot of plays here in this first game.
The game also, like at the end of the night, if it was like the highest scoring game on the slate, I wouldn't be surprised. So definitely keep an eye on a few of these pieces. Next game, Magic, Cavs, and I guess there's the Wizards Hornets game is a standalone 7 p.m. Eastern game. So it's the only game at that time. So if you do want to fade and buy some time, you have that option as well. But we have the Magic and the Cavs up next, 217 total. Cavs favored by 10.5 in this game. I'm not really going to look to any Orlando Magic players here, but I do have some interest in the Cavs. I really like Evan Mobley here with Jared Allen. Now it's just a very nice price tag for him. 7K flat, 7.2 on FanDuel. Just to me, a very, very safe option with a ton of upside too. So Mobley's one of my favorite plays. I think you can take a look at Donovan Mitchell. The price tag came down on him a little bit at 8.4. Probably prefer him over Garland at 8.5. So the two plays for me in this are Mitchell and Evan Mobley. Will stick with you, Cedom. Anything you're liking here in this game?
Yeah, honestly, I think those three guys that you mentioned, Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, should all be considered for GPP purposes. But outside of that, man, it gets really difficult to want to roster anyone from Orlando, especially the given price tags. Guys are healthy now. They're back into the rotation. They're going to eat away from each other. It's just not worth it. And another thing is that they're just not showing up in any optimal lineup. So outside of those three Cleveland guys, it's kind of an easy fade. 216 total. We don't like to kind of target low totals like that, especially as we got totals later on that we're going to talk about, like the Pelicans and Spurs, or maybe even the Rockets and the Suns, right? We'll get into those games, and the Denver Nuggets and Hawks as well. So really, this is an X for me. But if you want to go Mobley, I don't mind it whatsoever. Love the projection, point per dollar wise. He has tremendous upside. And then Garland and Mitchell, obviously, if you want to throw in a GPP play there, I don't mind it as well.
Yeah. JT, what are you thinking here in this game?
Yeah, a little bit lower on the Cavs than you are, just because I don't really see a lot of ways that the Magic compete here. Anything can happen in the NBA, but I do like some of these other spots. If I was going to play anyone, it'd be the guys that you mentioned, or a cheap Karis LeVert, because he did get the blowout run the last time that the Cavs played and they spanked the Sixers.
Yeah. Nuggets, Hawks, 228 total. Denver favored by 3.5 in this game. And this is the game where a lot of injury news that we're waiting on. So Jamal Murray, they switched over to questionable. So on the Nuggets side, I mean, if he's out, Jokic, I think it's a really big boost and is a guy that I definitely would want to get in there at 11-4. Bruce Brown, Aaron Gordon. If he's in, not much interest in anyone on the Nuggets side besides Jokic. And then on the Hawks side, Trae Young listed as questionable, Capella questionable, Bogdanovich questionable. This game could be a game where we don't get much exposure, or turns into a game where we're looking to get a ton of guys, 5-6 guys. It all depends on the news here. This is a 7:30 Eastern game, so we'll probably have it before that 7 Eastern lock. But it is 100% dependent on the news here for me in this game. JT, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, same here. Line went up in terms of Denver being favored by, I think it's 4 now, or 4.5. So that makes me think that Trae Young is going to sit. Usually with the Hawks, the midday Q tag does mean that they're sitting out. Capella is questionable. John Collins has already been ruled out. So there's going to be some value here. And if Trae Young is out, I mean, you have to like DeJounte Murray, who's going to play probably 38 minutes with the ball in his hands. So definitely that side. And like you said, we've got to see what happens with Murray. Probably makes me a little bit more interested in Bruce Brown at the price than Bones Highland and Joker, as you mentioned.
My guy, Christopher Walls, hoop trying to stay out of the sheets tonight, drinking that Celsius at 5 o'clock at night. Listen, I will find my way in the sheets tonight. I'll turn it over to wine here at some point. You don't worry about me. I'll have success tonight. I can promise you. C-Dome, what do you got here in this game?
Nothing like a blue chew, right? That can really, give you some momentum just in case, because it's tough to make that transition. But,
yes.
With this Denver-Atlanta game, there's upside here for DFS. Absolutely. John Collins and Hunter will be out. So, are you going to go to maybe a Jarrett Culver? How does Trae Young's kind of usage look with those guys off the court? Well, he does see an increase in usage. If he's off the court and he's not playing as well, I mean, Dejounte Murray's got to be like a must play here. I mean, everything's just going to run through Murray. So I can definitely understand that as well. But outside of that too, if you want to look at the Denver side, it's tough because if Jamal Murray doesn't play, Bruce Brown's only 5,900. He is looking like he's getting ownership at this current moment, but he is someone that you can play for GPP. It's looking around 10 or 11%. That obviously can change. That's not actually exact, but I don't mind it whatsoever. And then if Murray doesn't play, I think maybe you can throw in a little flyer, Bones Highland, KCP. These guys aren't slate breakers, but I will say KCP's price point, he gets a bump in usage, he gets a bump in minutes with Murray off the court. So these are just things that you want to consider. But outside of that, I mean, that's really it. So this Trae Young, if he doesn't play, Murray all day. But even if Trae Young does play, I would probably go to Trae Young absolutely, just because of the significant increase in usage with Collins and with DeAndre Hunter off the floor.
Yeah. I mean, the game's really dependent on the news here. And like I said, 7:30 Eastern game. We should get it before even the 7 p.m. lock. So keep an eye on that as we get closer. And our Up to Lock crew, JSU, Big T, Holden, we'll have you covered, breaking down all the news and notes of the slate. And that is part of the premium product over at runpuresports.com. Heat Celtics 226.5 total. Boston favored by 7.5 in this game. I think Miami is probably one of the easiest cross-offs on the slate. Just a really bad spot here. Traveling to Boston, they're starting to get healthy for the most part. Like Jimmy Butler's back. I mean, all their main guys are going to be back. So no interest in the Heat. On the Celtics side, Jaylen Brown at 8K though, I think is a really, really strong play. Actually, like really strong play. That's a good price tag for him. 8K, about as cheap as we've seen in a while. Tatum, playing on a whole nother level right now, but 10-9, I don't think I can do it on this slate. But he's playing really, really well, coming off like a 70 fantasy point game. We'll stick with you, C-Dome. Any interest here in this one?
I'm pretty sure Miami stayed in Boston, did they not? Because this game was played Wednesday night in Boston. And now they're playing again Friday. Is this a new thing with the schedule? Like they just stay? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's like they gave them a day off. They give them like a day off, and then they just run it back like the second day essentially.
Okay, yeah, that game was very high scoring. Bam Adebayo, a lot of offense ran through him. Hero played absolutely incredible coming back off the injury list. And then obviously Tatum 8. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, did he score 50 points, raw points? I forget. I don't remember.
He had 70 fantasy points. He had to
49.
Yeah.
He had 49, 11, 3, and 2. So, does that game replicate? Because the total wasn't the best of any means. So that was a very type of anomaly type play with, how much scoring was involved. Does that happen tonight? I don't know, but I do like your call on Jaylen Brown. He's probably the only guy that pops in this game. Do you want to run it back to Tatum? That's totally up to you. It's hard for me to go to 10-9 there when there's other pieces that I think I would pay for, given the situation. So, but a low Tatum, could he do it again? 1 to 2% projected ownership at the current moment. I don't mind it for GPP purposes. And then maybe Bam at a buyout. You can have some shares. If you're running 20, 150 lineups, I don't mind that as well. But anything else, it just doesn't intrigue me in regards to this game. So, and if Butler does play, obviously that takes away from Hero. I think we can all agree to that. And maybe it also does take away from Bam as well. But Bam, I think Bam could still get there. He still does project pretty well tonight, given his price point. But Jaylen Brown, AK, I think he's underpriced. I think maybe he should be around 85, 8,700. And he has that ability to have a 45, 50 point fantasy game. So I don't mind that call at all.
Yeah, like Jimmy Butler, they gave him no price discount after the injury here. I mean, 8.6, that's a pretty full price tag for Jimmy. And yeah, he is going to play tonight. Yeah, again, for me, the only play here is Jaylen Brown. Anything for you, JT?
Same thing. Jaylen Brown, the only guy. We can move on.
Yeah. Lakers, Bucks, big total here, 230.5. Milwaukee favored by 9, and Chris Middleton is coming back tonight. It's pretty significant news. I mean, obviously there'll be some sort of limitations, restrictions on him, I'm sure. I can't imagine him playing a ton of minutes here. Drew Holiday at 7.5, I think, is still too cheap, coming off a nice game there, 45.5 fantasy points. I think he's a play. Giannis at 12.3, if you're doing 150 teams, I'd definitely, try to get some exposure to him. You know the story. I mean, he can definitely break any slate, but he is substantially more expensive than the other studs on this slate. So for the Milwaukee side, I really like Drew. On the Lakers side, I don't know. I just really haven't been playing these guys. I mean, I guess if you really like LeBron James or Anthony Davis, have at it, but they're not going to be plays for me tonight. Favorite play by far is Drew. And then I'll try to get some Giannis and, most likely off those Lakers guys. JT, what are you seeing here in this one?
I'm probably not playing anybody from this game.
Perfect. Sedum.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah,
I mean,
I do like that price tag. I mean, it's a good tag on him.
I've kind of flirted with Giannis over the last couple slates, and I mean, he was just popping. But tonight, it's a little bit of a different scenario. He's not popping like he did the last few slates. So, but Drew Holiday's price point, I mean, forget about it. 7,500. Yeah. I think you have to consider him. But Drew and Giannis should be really primarily the guys that you would only want to roster in this game if you do go here.
Yeah, the thing with Giannis is he's substantially more expensive. I mean, he's $900 more than Jokic, and we've seen a lot of monster performances from guys, in the 8, 9, 10K range. So for him to be the guy, I mean, really need him to get like 70, I feel. And it just at 12.3, I don't think I'm going to get there a ton. Again, in 150 lineups, 100% get some exposure. But, if you're hand building 5 or 10, I'd likely just fade. Raptors, Nets, 224 total. Raptors are a tough team when they're kind of at full strength and they're basically there now. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Fred VanVleet this season. The recent results have not been great. The price tag's at 7.3. I don't hate him. I'll have some of him. On the net side, Kevin Durant priced fully at 11K. Kyrie though at 8.2 on DK. I will have some Kyrie. Finally broke that 40 fantasy point barrier, which isn't saying a lot, but he hadn't gotten there in a while. 38 minutes, man. That's a lot of minutes for him. He shot 21 times against Washington. But the real story for him has just been the lack of peripherals. I mean, 1 rebound, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, just not getting the peripherals that we're used to seeing from him. But the price tag is cheap enough for him to get it done. So him, maybe some Claxton on the net side, but that is about it. Nothing like in terms of like a core play for me here. I'd say Kyrie's probably my favorite. Sedum, anything here?
People are going to Joe Harris tonight. I don't know how much I like that in regards to just
actually, but now that I pull it up, I don't mind it. 35 and 37 minutes his last 2 games, shooting the ball, 11 shots, 10 shots.
I know.
I don't mind it actually now that you mentioned that.
So I mean, listen, every time I go to this guy when he's getting a little bit of ownership, but he's going to play the minutes, it's like he just doesn't pan out.
The floor is, the floor is always super. I mean, he's got single digit floor for sure. I mean, he definitely has single digit floor.
Yeah, but he is a guy that if he does get these minutes, I mean, you have to consider him given his price point. So if he does shoot double-digit shots, what we like is double-digit shots, low price point, and a large volume of minutes.
And his shots are 3-pointers. His shots are 3-pointers where you get the bonus as well. So that helps.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that's the case, I don't mind it. And the public, has some eyes on him. Rose O'Neal, same thing for him. And Claxton. Claxton was chalk last slate or the slate before, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't pan out. Didn't also think it was the best of matchups for him because Ben Simmons was out as well. I feel like Claxton, for some reason, has a little bit more space, with Ben Simmons on the floor. He gets a little bit more just isolation. If Ben Simmons wasn't there, obviously the rebounding, he gets a little bit more congested in the paint. So at least that's what I saw from the last game. But outside of that, I mean, when it comes to just any type of plays, that's it for me. Fred VanVleet is 7,300. I will say he is highly capable of getting to that 40-45 mark, which would exceed his salary expectations. But I mean, I still can't play the Durant, man. It's just 11K.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
Man, it's a big boy price tag. I mean, it's still, I think, a little inflated from his time without Kyrie. So I can't get there either. JT, any Raptors or Nets for you?
Yeah, I like the price on Kyrie. The one thing about the Nets is TJ Warren is going to be entering this rotation tonight. And with this being an 11-game slate and some obvious value and obvious spots, just don't know how much he's going to impact guys like Harris or Royce O'Neal or even Claxton for that matter. So I think I'm off the rest of the Nets outside of Kyrie. These prices on Toronto are really tempting, but they are at full health, and we have some other teams here who are likely not going to be at full health or in really, really good matchups as well. So I think for me, it's probably going to be sprinkles of Kyrie, and that's about it.
Our guy, Bobby Hare's in the chat, who's been doing a phenomenal job with content over here at Run Pure Sports. He always posts his early look core on Twitter. He said Kyrie might be his favorite play on the slate. So I'm gonna boost my Kyrie stock based on that because Bobby's been absolutely smashing. So it's something to take note of for sure.
I mean, Kyrie's almost touching the sevens, man. I don't think we've seen that in quite some time.
Yeah, no, I like it. 21 shots last time out. I think he's a very strong play. Competitive game, most likely. It's a 2-point spread. You know what you're getting with him. I mean, he can get hot. Yeah. And again, it's just cheap. He's not going to be 8.2K all season. I think he's a really good play now that we kind of talked through it a little bit more. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like. I mean, you guys stopped on the likes. I show up here as 145. Now I pull it up. There's only 230. Like, that's beyond hurtful, as our guy JT says. So, I mean, there are 500 watching. We need 325. Does that sound good, JT?
I mean, listen, are you guys on strike or something? I mean, C-Dome flew through the night. He's, he's a little bit inebriated and he's still here. So hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and let's get this on the road.
Like it. 76.
If you're not going to do it for me, do it for the disciples. I mean, I don't know who's religion based in here, but man, I mean, if you're serving a higher power, serve the disciples play of the day. Come on.
Gotta do it.
If you want the disciples play today, you have to get to 350. And the disciples play today has been good. It's been good the last couple of weeks.
There it is. 350 for the disciples play the day. We're at 250. You guys got 100 to go. So let's you got to start pounding it. Very simple. I mean, just as our guy Tambo says, hit the like or take a hike. Very simple.
Hey, by the way, Tambo, I had lunch with him. We met in person.
Oh, before you left?
Yeah, yesterday morning. I picked him up. I actually took him to his other hotel, but we went to lunch, took him to the mall. And yeah, man. Yeah, I didn't know he had a sleeve. I didn't know he had a sleeve tattoo, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he keeps his shit hidden. He keeps it under wraps. Like he's got the tattoo, he's got the earrings, like he's got it all going on. He's like a 18-year-old kid out of high school, just living the dream.
Listen, Tambo's a Canadian thug, okay? I love
it. That is perfect. That's exactly what it is. But he doesn't call, he kind of disguises that a little bit. If you watch him do his content, you wouldn't see that side of it, but he's got it in. That's a good way to put it. Canadian thug. I like that.
It's cute. It's cute that you guys went on a date to the mall. I like that. I like the bonding.
Was he solo? Did he have the wife with him or?
No, he was straight solo.
Solo? Okay, yeah, he's
Yeah.
got young kids at home, so probably hard for both of them to get away. That's cool though. Yeah. So you guys shopping date, and you got him some new gear for the live final, some beach attire.
Listen, Tambo needed a shirt for the live final. I tried to take him to a couple spots that I go to. He couldn't find a shirt. He ended up just I don't think he ended up pivoting and buying one. And so he just, that was it. They also didn't have his size, unfortunately, in a shirt that he wanted. He kind of wears like a little bit bigger one than your boy Cedum, but it's okay.
Oh, yeah, I can't imagine you and Tambo shopping at the same store. I'm trying to envision that. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, too.
That.
By the way, I love Tambo. We went and got a margarita together. Great dude.
Nice.
But I didn't know, because I'm 6'2", but he's actually he's a little bit shorter on the short.
Yeah, he's a shorter fella. Yeah, he's a shorter fella.
I had no idea, bro. I felt like a giant.
He's probably a 5'2" or 5'10" guy, I'd say, about 5'10" or so, maybe a little shorter than that.
You guys were like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger walking around the wall. Awesome.
Hey, my cousin Vinny.
Oh, the chat's loving it. Oh man, good stuff. Good luck to our guy Tambo though this weekend, by the way, at that live. I believe he has 2 seats in that sucker, and I think he's finished second or third in it last year. So he had a good finish last year. Dude, just on an absolute heater too. So love to see him. 5'2". That was I meant to say 5'10", not 5'2". He's definitely not 5'2".
Shrinking him. You're like the Twitter thing. Be like 50 likes, and we'll make Tambo a midget.
Tiny Tambo. Good stuff in there. Where the hell are we here? 76ers.
Y'all are killing me.
There's some good comments in there. 76ers, Grizzlies, 217 total. Memphis favored by 5. Tobias Harris is listed as questionable in this game. Yeah, that's kind of the only news that we're waiting on. I don't know. Not my favorite game here. I saw that who is it? That one of these guys super cheap on FanDuel. Who was it? I pulled it up. It was is it man, let me pull this up real quick. I think it was Melton, maybe. Melton.
Big T goes tough scene for Tambo.
You can't take vacations here, man. You can't take vacations.
Yeah. If people know you're gone for a while, you got the income, and people are going to start hitting you for sure.
Oh man, this is great.
Really nothing for me. I mean, in this game, if you are going to play Embiid, I kind of like pairing him with the Ja Morant and just hope you get that back and forth between those two. I mean, they could obviously both have big games. In terms of like the secondary pieces here, not much. Melton's a guy that's cheap on FanDuel. He's like 6K or somewhere in that range, which was I think somewhat of a value compared to the 7-2 on DK, but yeah, definitely not my favorite game. JT, any interest here?
This is one where we're going to need some news. Tobias Harris is questionable, didn't go through shoot around. Probably gives you a boost to whoever they start, unless they start Thibault or something like that, and then maybe gives Embiid a little bit of a boost. But I think I like other spend ups on this slate. I might have Embiid in a couple of lineups if that happens, but probably not much else for me.
Yeah, the other problem with a play like Embiid is like if Jamal Murray's ruled out, it's like so hard. It's gonna be so hard to play Embiid over Jokic. Like Jokic would just be such a better play if Murray's ruled out. So that's another thing to kind of consider as well. No way Tambo's 5'2". I'm pretty. I mean, or 5'10". I said it again. 5'10".
No. I think he's 5'7".
Yeah, maybe he is shorter. Yeah, 5'10". You guys are right. He's probably like 5'8" or something like that. JT, right? What I mean,
he's a reasonably sized human. I mean, he's not too small. He's not a giant.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys I'm sure you guys look like a dashing couple running through the mall, sipping on your margaritas, hitting the Hot Topic as someone in
Hot Topic.
Looking for graphic tees. I mean,
that's the Gothic spot, right?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I will say I took Tambo to All Saints. I like the aesthetic shirts from All Saints. I thought he wanted a button-down collared shirt. And I was like, listen, let me take you to a spot that, you'll look fresh. You'll represent RPS at the same time, but you got the sleeve on. This will be a nice shirt for you.
I tell you, I wish you videoed this, C-Dome.
You got to understand, like what looks good on you is going to look fucking awful on Tambo. So that's one thing you definitely need to consider. So something that you would wear that you go to your coffee shop in, it's going to be a much different story when Tambo is on the beach wearing it. So that's definitely something to consider on your next shopping adventure.
Yo, and then I took him to Zara, I took him to H&M because he said they had that in Canada. So I was like, all right, perfect. We'll find you a shirt. But he just wasn't having it, man. I don't know. He was being a little picky, but I will say though, my guy likes to drink. It was his first drink because he went to No Drink November. So I was very proud.
Yeah, that that's the worst part about this whole thing. Like No Drink November, like that's like torturing yourself.
What is that? What is that? I mean,
I don't know. Like they're doing the show. When was it? One of the shows. Big T. What show was that? It was the Thanksgiving show. It was Big T, JSU, and Tambo. And Big T even got JSU to start drinking. JSU did a shot and had a beer, and Tambo's sitting there drinking a water, and Big T's like, dude, like you're not gonna have a drink. It's the night before Thanksgiving. We're doing the show. He's like, no, man, it's a No Drink November. I'm participating in it. Like, what the fuck? That's like, oh.
Someone said C-Dome takes his disciples to the mall.
You take care of those disciples. You take care of those disciples. They'll take care of you.
I'm trying to give them cloth and give them bread. I'm trying to feed them. Listen, I even treated Tambo. I picked them up. I treated them to lunch. I bought them drinks,
That's the service.
Listen, yeah, he left me with nothing, okay? Talk about
he didn't even buy you a shirt. He didn't even buy you a shirt.
Oh man, tough time. Pelicans Spurs 232 total. Pelicans are favored by 7.5. I actually like this game quite a bit from a fantasy perspective. I think we got some plays here. The Spurs are relatively thin, which is kind of weird because usually they have like 15 guys that they can play, but McDermott got ruled out, and who was the other dude? McDermott and Schoen out, and Josh Richardson and Pirtle. I like Zach Collins. I really like Keldon Johnson. I think Keldon Johnson is a really good play here. Trey Jones, solid option. On the Pelican side, going right back to Zion, 9K. I think he's a really solid option. I think you can play McCollum. Cheap price tag for him, 7.6K. Najee Marshall should get some solid run. A lot of interest for me in this game. The hope is obviously the Spurs can keep it close and you get a little bit of a back and forth. C-Dome, thoughts here on Pelican Spurs?
Yeah, a lot of people are liking Isaiah Roby from the Spurs, power forward, 3,100. Got a lot of run last game against his former team, OKC. Projection-wise, I mean, he hits 8 or 9X there at 3,100. He's like kind of like a Trey Man play, but heavy ownership. But I will say, in the optimizer, I ran 1,000 lineups. He populates a lot. So he's someone that you got to consider. I think Zach Collins is another guy that a lot of people will go to again. And it's something where, is this the time where, he smashes? It's kind of a better situation for him, given the lack of depth for New Orleans at the moment. They're extremely thin. But I will say this, is that can we go back to Zion, with McCollum back? I don't think so. I think guys that I want to focus on here are guys like Keldon Johnson, Bates Diop. I don't mind Collins whatsoever. These guys are fillers, right? These guys are fillers. And Isaiah Roby is another guy that can help you roster, maybe some higher priced guys such as Trey Young if he's in the lineup, or maybe taking a couple peels at Embiid, like JT said. Embiid's very interesting tonight. And I think, those Embiid lineups might have Roby in them. So love the Trey Jones call. He actually projects very well tonight. But the guy who projects the best still, even with McCollum, is Zion. So you have to make that decision tonight. Without Brandon Ingram, he still has a very high usage. And, I will say, I don't mind going back to Zion tonight at 9K, regardless of the situation. Sub 5% ownership, he is definitely still someone that can have that upside. So, and I am convinced that the San Antonio Spurs are tanking. They were dominating OKC in that third quarter. They were up like 18 points, if I'm not mistaken, and they completely just let it go. They let it go to OKC to a bunch of guys that, belong in the G League. And, granted, there's not a lot of good guys on the Spurs as well, but still, at the end of the day, this team is just, they're letting this season go now. And, you got to take it for what it's worth. So that's pretty much it for me as far as this game is concerned.
The Richie Smalls in the chat has requests. He said, K Fallick's on his way to San Diego as well. And they're hoping that you could take K Fallick shopping at the mall when he arrives. But unfortunately, you've relocated. You're in Miami now, so that can't happen. But Randone, K Fallick trip to the mall would top probably just about anything that I can imagine in my head right now.
I will say K Fallick, he has a family, he has a wife. I heard that she likes to travel with him to these live finals. He's got to shape up the beard. I mean, just clean it up, especially if he's running if he's running, listen, he's also running a water treatment company, is he not? Or
I believe so.
Okay. These
Zoom can't afford to get one of those whiskers into the well there. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Listen,
maybe Mrs. Fallick likes that though. You might like the little tickle.
Tickle.
Listen, all I'm saying is this: if you're worried about water treatment and getting water dirty, especially in those drains and pipes, make sure you're cleaning those whiskers on the beard. Shape it up, clean it up. Especially for Mrs. K Fallick, she would love that. We don't need another squirrel situation.
JT, what do you got? Pelican Spurs.
Yeah. Speaking of hair, you see what Popovich is going on lately? He looks like a guy that escaped from a fucking mental hospital.
Someone needs to take him out back, man. It's like it's about done.
I mean, he manages his team that way too. Speaking of the Spurs, I think the Spurs are on pace to play like 600 games this season. Every guy.
It is true, yeah.
Like, come on, give him like a week off. Send him to the Bahamas. Let him go, not be on a slate for a change. One thing on the Spurs, C-Dome's right. I mean, I don't know if I could play. I'm probably not going to play a 33% owned Isaiah Roby. I don't care how much he is. There are still a lot of forwards that he can play. I don't love the Zach Collins price either. Give me Plumlee for 400 more in a much better environment. But one guy on the Spurs, they don't have any guards. So Trey Jones, you're going to see the same thing, I think, as the other night, where you're going to see Trey Jones play a bunch of minutes. The 6'2" price tag is nice. If you think they can keep it competitive, then Devin Vassell is in a good spot here. He's 7,500. I don't love the price, but I may have some shares of him too, just because their depth issues are at guard, not so much down around the basket.
The chat is now requiring C-Dome to drink his wine and water and ice mix before every show moving forward. So the people are loving this version of C-Dome. So you got to, keep up with it next time.
Yeah,
around.
Absolutely.
Pacers, Jazz, 239 total, big boy total. Jazz favored by 4.5 in this game. On the Pacers side, pretty substantial news with Tyrese Halliburton. He's officially questionable. So if he were to miss, obviously all these Pacers guys would get a pretty big boost. If he's in, kind of like him a little bit because I like the Jazz side a lot. I'm going to keep playing Colin Sexton. He's cheap, 5.5, 5.1 on FanDuel, playing 30 plus minutes, doing a lot. He's been over 30 fantasy points in his last 3 games. I love Colin Sexton tonight. I like Jordan Clarkson, Vanderbilt, Olynyk. I love the Jazz. Absolutely love the Jazz. I think this is a spot where if you hold off on some teams and leave some spots open for these Pacers, if Halliburton misses, man, this could be a really good spot all around. So one of my favorite games here on this slate. Love the Jazz side right now, but if the news breaks our way, we could have a lot of Pacers in play as well. JT, any interest here?
Yeah, Sexton is definitely still underpriced. I think it's a big slate, but I don't mind if you're doing multi-entry, taking some shots on Malik Beasley, having a bounce back in terms of his shooting. He's just 4,900. And then, like you said, Olynyk, Jordan Vanderbilt, I think 4.8 or 4.9 on DraftKings. Really, really way too cheap against this front court of the Pacers. And then on the Pacers side, I mean, centers have destroyed this Utah Jazz team. They just don't defend the position. Miles Turner in a really good spot and an even better spot if Halliburton misses. And then Buddy Hield is 6,100 on DraftKings. He was on a path to have a really big game against the Kings. He had 20 fantasy points in the first half. Of course, they get blown out in the second half So if I'm playing this game like it plays close, I'm going to have somebody healed. And then if Halliburton misses, guys like Nemhard and McConnell come into play as your cheap guys. So I think, Hoop, you're right. It makes sense with him still being questionable at this point. Save a couple of lineups and just play some of these middle range or higher price guys in the early games. And that could be a good way to differentiate yourself and have a really big night.
Yeah, I mean, even if Halliburton does play and you kind of get jammed up, there's still, 3 games at 9 Eastern and beyond. You'll have some options for sure. So, yeah, like that strategy. Definitely. Sedum, what do you got here in this one?
Yeah, first off with Halliburton, I mean, he had a very disappointment reunion coming back to Sacramento. Sacramento blew them out. I really thought I had a lot of exposure to Halliburton that slate. I just thought that it was a prime situation for him. Coming back, he had a huge chip on his shoulder, and they just got destroyed. Sabonis just ate them up. I will say though, tonight, Halliburton actually projects very well amongst all the top price guys. And if he is going to be,
he'll be low owned. If that news doesn't break, he's going to be so low owned too.
Oh, he can definitely smash her. And we talked about it before with JT. Colin Sexton's defense is just absolutely atrocious. So, for him, this is a prime spot. And so I'm hoping that if he does play, don't mind rostering him whatsoever and running back with him. A huge upside play, absolutely. But I think, Hoop, you nailed it, man. When it comes to plays in this game, a lot of Utah is popping. Sexton, Clarkson, Olynyk, Markkanen, and then even like JT's guy, Jared Vanderbilt, 4,800, but he's projected for 27.9 points. Don't mind him whatsoever. Possibly 10%, 9% ownership, but dual eligibility. So I love that. Power forward center. You can't go wrong when you have a dual eligibility type of guy there. And then believe it or not, some guys are going to, and this is, I think, contingent upon Halliburton, Andrew Nemhard, point guard, shooting guard eligibility, 3,700. And I don't know if this projection is based on whether or not Halliburton plays or not. But I will say, 19, 20 points potentially, 3.7K, just one of those guys. Maybe be on the lookout for a low GPP flyer if you're looking to roster some bigger time guys like Tatum and Embiid, Durant, anyone like that. But as far as that, I mean, I really don't see myself going anywhere else outside of possibly Miles Turner, but that's just something where I would have to really see if I can fit him in. And that's it for me on this game.
Nemhard's been starting, so he'll get more usage if Halliburton's out. But I mean, 3,700 starting shooting guard against the Jazz is pretty good. The other thing that's pretty good is the sun is about to set in Miami.
Yeah, we're seeing it.
It's looking.
We're seeing it.
Looking nice. It's looking nice. Don't you dare get up and turn the lights on. This is gonna be a fantastic.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys a little. I'll give you guys a little look. That's what we're looking at out there right now. Nice. It's pretty dark.
Look at that. That's a beaut right there. We need 350. We got 310. I mean, come on, this show's been on fire. I mean, if you want to get the disciples play of the day, I mean, come on, like this is an embarrassment. So hit that like button. 2 games left. Rockets, Suns, 230 total. Phoenix favored by 11.5. And I don't give a shit about either of these teams for fantasy purposes. I just want to see Chris Paul's ass sitting on that bench after Kanye West exposed the fact that he caught Chris Paul and Kim Kardashian hooking up. That is going to be what this game's all about to me. Yeah, you can play Devin Booker. Fine with that. He went off last game. Cameron Payne, pretty cheap on FanDuel. I think you can play him. Not messing with the Rockets side, but like I said, the story here is going to be Chris Paul sitting on the bench. JT, any interest in this game?
Yeah, some interesting campaign. And then with Torrey Craig out, a little bit of interest, even at the elevated price point. And DeAndre Ayton, he's been on fire. And with Craig out, I think it just gives maybe a little bit more opportunity for some rebounds there. But I won't have a ton of exposure here.
Sedum, what do you got here?
Yeah, I'm just telling the chat. I mean, let's get to 350. I really want to showcase this disciples play of the day. So, 350 likes, let's ride. I mean, no pun intended, because Russell Wilson is just not my guy. Russell Wilson, also another casualty of, a wife with maybe someone else, future Sierra. I know that hurts, but now we have a situation with Chris Paul and Kim Kardashian and Kanye. So give me all the shares of Cameron Payne tonight in regards to that. I feel like this is a situation where Payne really needs to step up for CP3, for that heel. and really lead the way for this Kardashian all NBA team that they've constructed over the years. Absolutely incredible, by the way. They could literally have a franchise that could compete, maybe a play-in team. I don't know if really a top 6 team, but I will say they could be a play-in team. Absolutely.
He's going to have a hard time denying it, though, because the fact that one of the sisters was dating Devin Booker, right? So there was some sort of, connection there for sure.
No, 100%. Listen, I went through a lot of footage last night. I was at the airport. I had to look through all the footage. I don't know if you guys saw, there's a lot of things lining up that this Chris Paul and Kardashian situation has been going on for quite some time. So, very interesting. But then again, these guys, they get the juice from these women. Look at Tiger. Once the women stopped, the juice stopped. This is when they get older, they need that momentum and they need those T levels. So I'm all about the hashtag T level spike. That's what we're all about, the workbench. But I will say, Damian Lee is getting ownership tonight. So if you guys didn't know, dual eligibility, shooting guard, small forward for Phoenix. Projection is kind of in that potential 6.5 to 7.5 XK range off his salary. Don't mind it if you're looking to obviously stack some higher price guys like we spoke about before. I don't think I'm going back to Devin Booker in regards to the price tag, the projection, and he just came off that heater. I just can't do it. So for me, I mean, there's really nothing much here, but I will say Cameron Payne, a lot of people are loving him tonight.
What's the what are the plans tonight in Miami, by the way? So
Yeah, guys. So oh man, this is gonna be interesting. I shouldn't be saying this because what's funny, guys, is I got a text the other day right after the show, actually, and JT was on the show with me and Big T. My ex-girlfriend, who I actually am in love with, she watched the show and she said, wow, you only date Spanish women. And
I do remember you saying that.
She's Mexican. And believe it or not, that RPS show allowed us to hang out that night. And,
so she appreciated your loyalty to the Hispanic women.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is I'm fully Latina women only. And I think she finally understands that, I'm ready to put a ring on it, here in the future.
Whoa, so you heard it here first. Damn. Is that the purpose of the trip or what?
No. Tonight, C-Dome is going out with the boys. They're about to land here about 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the penthouse. We're gonna. So this is what we're doing. Just to let you guys know, we're going to Komodo. We're going to Swan. We're going to Live. And then we're going to a private party around 4 o'clock in the morning. That's invite only. So C-Dome's gonna have a great night. Might have to let people know a little bit about RPS during those moments, but it's just what we do.
Invite only party. JT, since we are part of the Friday crew with C-Dome, I'm assuming our invites may have gotten lost in the mail potentially.
Maybe yours did. I'm heading to the airport right as soon as.
Damn it! Son of a bitch. I knew you guys were up to something.
Listen, by the way, 356 likes. This is absolute gold for YouTube. I don't think 350 goes in anymore. I think you guys need to go to 400 and
$4 bills. We got one game left, and it could go quick. 400 likes.
We're getting to 400 likes, but I will say people are thinking like I'm like cooked. This is actually just my personality in real life. Like I'm a very outgoing guy if I like you and I like to hang out with you. So I love JT. I can't wait to do baseball with JT. I love hoop. I've known hoop for quite a few years now. So it's just nice to be in an environment.
Exactly. We get all the three of us we get each other excited. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily the drinks. It's just the good mojo. You go like Eiffel Tower play of the day. We got the Disciples play of the day. I mean, there's just so much good mojo.
Very
going on, but now we need 400 likes. So unfortunately for you guys, it's been the content here has been so good that now you need more likes. So start hitting it. Bulls,
we're getting 400. We're getting it 100%.
337 total. Yeah, they're gonna skyrocket. Watch. By the time we're done with this game, it's gonna be well over 4. Bulls, Warriors 237 total. Warriors favored by 7. Steph Curry, I think, is a play here. I don't really have much interest in the secondary pieces for the Warriors. The prices are starting to come up a little bit. I keep trying Klay Thompson. It just hasn't worked out all that well. On the Bulls side, man, I don't know what happened with Vucevic, but he's like a 30 fantasy point a night guy, and just I can't do it anymore. So I'm off of him. DeRozan, I think, is a play. Levine, got a few options here. JT, go to you first. Any interest?
Yeah, Vucevic has been killing me. I played him a couple of times with some really good lineups, and including against that, I think it was against the Jazz. It's just very hurtful. But Steph Curry, one of my favorite plays, not just in the game, on the slate. I think you could run a Curry Levine kind of mini stack here of this game. Not that you need to do that in NBA, but just gives you that late night hammer where if they both go off and go for something crazy like 120 combined fantasy points, that would be really nice. I think you could play DeRozan here. I am like you. I'm not on any of these other secondary pieces. And then just because I played him like the last 3 slates when he's been in good spots, I might have to play Vucevic in just a lineup or two, just because it would just hurt so bad for him to have that 60-point fantasy night when I'm not on him. And this is
be very hurtful.
NBA. Yeah, exactly.
Cito, any interest here? Bulls, Warriors.
Yeah, I love the call on Curry. Obviously, high price guy, but he projects as far as one of the best DFS plays tonight. But no one wants to roster him. But he has a lot of upside tonight. This game could be very high scoring, could exceed expectations in regards to the over/under. And I love DeRozan as well. Dual eligibility, small forward, power forward. A lot of upside there. No one's going to really go to him tonight. Zach LaVine, you mentioned, yes, he will get ownership. But, this is a late hammer game. And, at home in Golden State, the pace will be up. I don't mind any of these plays whatsoever. I do agree with JT, though. Vucevic is really hard to, just get right on the slate that you need him. But outside of that, Curry, DeRozan, LaVine, don't mind Vooch. But any other guys, I really don't kind of want to mess with.
So not only if we get to the 400, do you get the plays of the day, but C-Dome said he is chugging the wine. So some extra added motivation there to end the show. So
we need 7 more.
It's going to happen. So
I don't mind hitting the bottle of wine to the dome. I don't mind it, because
tonight's
going to be electric.
Yeah. Do you want to do it like how we sign off? Like you give the plays of the day and then we go to you chug it and then helmet, get us out of here type thing? I think that's a good way to.
As soon as it hits.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to the fridge right now. I'm going to grab it because I keep my wine chilled.
Oh,
and
man, this is high maintenance wine shit.
Civilized. Don't touch those fucking lights.
Yeah. All right. So the likes you guys are going to get there. 395. We're going to get into the plays of the day here. We got the Up to Lock show coming up after us. JSU, Big T, and Holden. We're going to hop into the plays of the day, though. I'll go first. I'm going to clear the way for my boys. All right. I'm just going to clear the way. Hoop is third wheel in this trio. Rich Parents play of the day is my guy, Bobby Hare, kind of pushed me over the edge. It's going to be Kyrie Irving, 8.2K, very cheap. I think he goes off. So give me Kyrie Irving, Rich Parents play of the day. JT, I'm sorry, because you have always been the last play that we go to on Friday nights. You are the guy that kind of signs off the show, the Eiffel Tower. I think you're going to understand the reason for the change in order here. You're batting second tonight. Unfortunately, our guy C-Dome has stolen the show. So the next play is going to be the Friday night Eiffel Tower play of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, it's definitely the right move, Hoop. I'm in complete agreement with you because I can't wait to see this with the sun setting. It's just fantastic down there in Miami. But I think that C-Dome is right. I think the Bulls coming off that shellacking in Phoenix are going to play a lot harder this evening. I think this game has a potential to really shoot out. And the only guy that I'm really interested in on this Golden State side is getting on the jet tonight and heading to France. A little bit expensive, but very low owned. Steph Curry, potentially going to be the highest scoring play on the night. That's the call. Steph Curry, it's the Eiffel Tower play of the day.
Love it. Yeah. Should have some, I'd say, relatively low ownership, especially if some of this news, breaks early with like if Trae Young's ruled out or, some of the other news early on. If Jamal Murray's out, then Jokic will be way more popular. So I love that call. All right. The man of the hour, our guy C-Dome, now officially has the play of the day, the Disciples play of the day. Not only do you get the play of the day, you get the wine chug to get us on out of here. C-Dome, first ever Disciples play of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, first off, let me just break this down real quick. We got a little conscious wine, a little low calorie wine
Low
as well.
calorie wine. Nice.
Hey, listen,
Wow.
I picked it up from Whole Foods downstairs. You know, as you know, I'm in the beautiful city of Brickell in Miami. But you know, first we're gonna go ahead and take the rest of this to the dome.
See dome, see dome, see dome, see dome, see dome. There we go.
And with that,
Tasty.
Nice.
Listen, not only are we gonna walk on water down Biscayne Boulevard, but we're gonna roll with Jalen McDaniels tonight. Dual eligibility, small forward, power forward, 4,800. Looking at a projection about 29.71 points currently. Populating a lot in the optimizer. I just will say that if he does get the 30 plus minutes, listen, not a lot of ownership, sub 9, sub 8%. This could be a guy that could essentially really help you tonight in GPP play. So Jalen McDaniels, Charlotte Hornets, let's ride. That's it.
Let's do it.
Go,
7
now
p.m.
hand out some
Eastern start.
loaves.
Huh?
I said, now go hand out some loaves.
Yeah. All right. That was a lot of fun, boys. That was a great show. Hope everyone enjoyed it. We got the Up the Lock show coming up next, as I said. But for my guy, JT Hayes, for my guy, C Dome, I'm Hoop, Helmet, get us out of here.